Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Friday, the 25th day of October, 2024, Friday of the 29th week of the year, the 29th week in Ordinary Time. And it seems to be a quiet day here on the campus of St. Francis of Assisi. There is no school today. There's no preschool today. And it's not just quiet because it's a day off. It is quiet because it is our annual service day here at the parish, our Franciscan service day. So all members of the staff, all members of the parish staff and the school staff, the preschool staff, all get together to engage in various service activities around the triangle, around the Raleigh area. And so that's where people are moving to just at the present moment now. So again, a day off, but not a day off, a day on actually. So there you go. Again, all in celebration of this month of St. Francis, the month of giving of ourselves to the needs of others, to the care of others, to the acknowledgement of our interrelationships, with each other. It is also 2 months. 2 months? Yeah. 2 months until Christmas. Sorry, just to think about that. 2 months until Christmas today. Yeah, so October to November, November to December. 2 months. 2 months until Christmas. So just if you're counting down, so it'll be 60 days. 60 days until Christmas today. So just get excited. It is 6 days until Halloween too, just in case you're also marking that on your calendar. So on this Friday of the 29th week of the year, Ephesians continues. We're in the 4th chapter of that letter to the Ephesians. Again, a great affirmation letter in some ways that Paul writes. Again, he does not call the Ephesians stupid like he does the Galatians. And it is this constant encouragement for this church in Ephesus, which again was dealing with this tremendous cult to the goddess Artemis, and yet surviving and persevering and becoming something that people were taking a second look at. Again, this whole sense of what it means to live in a worthy manner, as Paul says, of those who are called into life with Christ. Now again, there is this kind of hyperbole of trying to denigrate, those who would oppose you, in this Christian movement. And again, whether or not those who embraced the gods and goddesses of the ancient worlds were just people who were filled with, again, orgies and terrible attitudes and behaviors and things like that, might not always necessarily be true. Again, it existed. There were perhaps elements and things like that, but Paul is calling people to something new and asking them to kind of believe that what they have been called to is something that will give them more meaning and more life, to their lives than anything else they could have understood or could have been introduced to or what have you. Again, it holds true for us today. Again, it's remembering that what we have been called to as believers in this world is something that reshapes, again, everything that we are, all that we do, all that we say, all that we experience. It must do that. Because if it doesn't, then basically it is worthless, Paul says. And even Christ says, again, if we don't take this seriously enough, what has been given to us in faith, then why bother? Because it's only when we take it seriously that it begins to impact our lives and shape our emotions and our perceptions and our responses to things. Paul is encouraging the people of Ephesus to continue to do that, and to not lose sight, or to not lose hope, or to not lose faith that what Paul has presented to them can actually transform their lives. In Luke's gospel, again, Jesus is moving into this whole period of kind of great frustration with people not listening to him and people not thinking that what he offers is true. And so again, this whole idea, if you can read the weather, if you can know when it's going to rain or when it's going to be hot or whenever it is, why can't you see the signs in your midst? Again, of this God who is working within you, of this God who is now walking with you, of this God who is not separated from you, who is not indifferent to your causes, of this God who is part of your life and asking you to be part of this God's life. And so he goes into this great example again of quarrels or of things that are not right, with our neighbors and with each other. It's like, how can we settle, these differences before we have to go to court, and maybe end up in jail? Again, we know how to do things like that so we can avoid what is worse and what is bad for us. Why is it that we cannot recognize, what will give us life, what will allow us to see the more that God is offering to to us, that a relationship, that a life with God can offer to us. That's, again, true for us today. Again, we know how to do all kinds of things. We know how to make all kinds of things work in our lives. But the understanding is, do we know how to make faith work in our lives? Can we trust that what is offered to us as guides to allow faith to become something that is not just a pastime or not just something that we do on the sides, something that makes us who and what we are as human beings real? Because that's the whole idea. If faith is not going to allow our lives to be real, if faith is not going to allow our lives, to experience the more that life can give us, then again, faith is useless. Faith does not work. Faith is a lie. And Jesus tells us again and again that it isn't. It works. It is true. It is not a lie. We just have to believe it can and see what results from that. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.